Okay, so today we're going to be talking about something called abstract classes. And yes, thank you for noticing. I did get a new hat, which I'm going to try out because it sort of blocks out my spotlight at the top there so I don't get a headache after a long day. We've been talking a lot about classes and interfaces for the longest time now, and something else we need to talk about is something called abstract classes. And before we start getting into abstract classes, I just really quickly want to get something off my chest, which is that I know for a fact that when you start out learning PHP or object-oriented languages for the first time, all this with abstraction and interfaces and classes can all get very messy for a new person. And I just want you to think of all these things as tools that you can use if you want to make a little bit more cleaner code and something that is structured a little bit better. So don't get too confused about all these different things. Just sort of think of them as tools and try to get into that mindset instead of that if you don't understand what abstract classes are, then you're not good enough to learn PHP. So, it's just something that I know from experience from when I was teaching classes back at the university, that some people can get very frustrated and maybe feel that, okay, maybe object-oriented PHP is not something for me because I can't remember all these things and I don't know when to use these things in real-life examples. So just try and keep on and just keep going, and we will get to some examples about abstract classes and so on at some point. Just remember that my one goal when I'm teaching these lessons is try to make things as understandable as possible for people who are new at these sort of things. So I will try to do the same thing here when it comes to abstract classes, and the same as I did with interfaces, which might have gotten a little bit confusing yesterday, but I hope that you sort of understand it. So when it comes to abstract classes, before we get started, I just want to show you what exactly I built here inside my small example. So inside my project, you can see that I have my index page, which is right here. I don't have the standard HTML index page. I just went and created an index page and inserted some PHP code into it. Doesn't really matter. It makes no difference. I do also have two folders inside my project folder, which is called abstract and one called classes. So this is sort of, like we talked about back in the classes episodes, that when we have classes, we put them all inside a classes folder just to organize a little bit better. I did the same thing here. So all my abstract classes gets inserted inside an abstract folder just to make things more organized. The files that do get inserted inside the abstract folder that are abstract classes, I name a little bit differently. So you know how we name classes, for example, byproduct.class.php. In this case here, I name it paymenttypes.abstract.php. So I just insert abstract instead of class. There's many ways you can name things. This is my preferred way of doing things. So you don't have to stick to this way, but you could if you wanted to. So having said that, inside my byproduct.class.php, which is my regular class, I have a class called byproduct, and I have one method in here called getPayment. So what I want to do here is I want to get a certain payment type from another class somewhere inside my project. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend to that class, just like we talked about in some of the earliest episodes. If you want to inherit properties and methods from a certain class, you have to extend to it. So I do have another class inside my abstract folder, and I didn't make this abstract yet. I just made this into a regular class for you to understand a little bit better. So as you can see, I just have a regular class in here called Visa. So that's a payment method. And all this does is it has a method that says Visa payment. So I just went ahead and said returns, perform a payment. So we know that it is meant to perform some kind of payment using a Visa card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back inside my byproduct class, and I'm going to go ahead and extend to this class called Visa, which is in here. So I'm going to copy it, and inside my class here, I'm just going to say byproduct extends Visa. So in this way, I inherit the method from inside the Visa class. Now, the thing is that in my head, the Visa class that I have in here is not going to get grabbed from the index page or anywhere inside my website where I need to use it. This class here is only going to get used if another class inside my project needs something from it. So in this example, I have a class called byProduct that needs something from this class. And because of this, I can make my Visa class into an abstract class because I don't need to access it from anything but other classes. So think about abstract classes as a way for us to structure or create some behavior for certain classes in here that we know only needs to get access from certain classes and not directly by creating objects inside our code. Because there are a few rules when it comes to abstract classes, like for example, like I mentioned, you can't create objects from an abstract class, which means that if I create a class, I can't access any of the properties and methods using an object. I have to do it through another class, because that's the sort of rule that we're going for here. We do also have another rule when it comes to abstract classes, but let me just go ahead and start by creating an abstract class so you can sort of follow along with me. So my visa class has to become abstract. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right before my class keyword here. I'm just going to go ahead and write abstract to make sure that this is defined as abstract, which means that now I cannot create an object based off this class here. I can only reference to it from other classes, okay? So if I were to go back inside my, byproduct class, you can see that all I'm doing is extending to the class. Nothing's wrong here. Everything's fine so far. Inside the method I have inside my byproduct, I told it to return variable this, which means I'm referencing to this class or any class that I extend to from it, meaning the visa class. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a method called visa payment, which is inside our visa class. We can do that because we're extending to it. So we should see them as one class now. So keeping this in mind, we now created a class that can only get access from other classes. I keep saying that because it's a very important point to get through. Now, another thing we can do here, which is kind of a unique thing about abstract classes. Remember in the previous episode where we talked about interfaces and that we could create an interface in order to create a certain behavior for our classes? So we could say that if any class implements that interface, then they have to have a certain method called a certain thing. That's something we can do with interfaces to make sure that classes are structured the proper way. We can do sort of the same thing when it comes to abstract classes. So if I were to go inside my abstract class here, I can go down and do kind of the same thing as we did with an interface, which we talked about in the previous video. So if I were to go ahead and say, I want to create an abstract function, and do keep in mind, if you do create an abstract function in any class, you have to make the entire class abstract. That's just a rule you have to do. So you can't go into a regular class like our byproduct class and just make an abstract function from in there to make sure if any other classes extend to that class, then you have to include that method. You can't do that. You have to make the entire class abstract in order to use abstract functions or methods. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, well, I want to create an abstract function. So function, and I'm going to call this one get payment, parentheses, and semicolon. You don't have to open up any curly brackets or anything. There's one more thing we need to do here, which is define a visibility level. So I'm just going to make this one public. And after we've done this, basically what this line of code does is telling us that if any class extends to this abstract class here, they have to include a get payment method. There has to be a method such as this one inside that other class. So going back to our byproduct class, you can see I do actually have a get method class. So I'm following the rules here. If I did not have this method, it is going to throw me an error message inside the website. And again, you might be asking, well, why do we create these? Can't we just not create these sort of rule sets down here? Well, it's kind of the same thing as with interfaces. We do this in order to make sure that methods get named properly, so they all get named the same if they perform the same functions. We do this to make sure that if certain, let's say certain methods in here require that you have another method that can do something with these methods here, then you need to include that as a rule to make sure that if you forget that method in another class, then they sort of get reminded, the developers get reminded, oh, we need to create a method in order to use these methods inside this abstracted class. So that's one reason we might want to create these things down here. So having done this, I think we can pretty much just sort of check it out inside the browser. Again, it's going to throw me error messages because I didn't actually make the changes I just did. So if I were to refresh, you can see it says perform a payment. Again, just to sort of show you, if I were to go back inside my files here, if I were to go up inside my, let's say, byproduct class and not have a get payment, let's call it get payments let's say I made an error message here, or made an error, not an error message, a typo it's called, and I try to print that out, you can actually see inside my browser, it is going to say that class by product contains one abstract method and must therefore be declared abstract or implemented the remaining methods. That's the error message you're going to be getting if you went ahead and set a rule inside payment types or inside the Visa class that you had to include a get payment method inside that class. So because we don't have that, it is going to throw us an error message, it's called. So this is pretty much what abstract classes are, and that's the uses for them. Again, you can do things without abstract classes, but they are here to sort of make your development easier, especially if you're working in group projects. So having abstract classes is something that will make a development process a little bit easier when it comes to certain functionalities you're trying to build inside, let's say, a website. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it wasn't too complicated, and I will see you in the next one.